What if I told you that your nightmares could predict dementia 12 years before doctors even notice the first symptoms? That the way you grip a coffee cup right now reveals more about your brain health than most medical tests? Most people think dementia starts with forgetting names or losing keys, but groundbreaking research published just months ago has exposed 8 hidden warning signs that appear decades before anyone suspects cognitive decline. Over 55 million people worldwide are living with dementia right now, but here's what's terrifying. The brain changes that cause this devastating condition actually begin 20 to 30 years before the first obvious symptoms appear. While doctors focus on memory tests and brain scans, your body has been sending distress signals all along. These aren't the typical warning signs you've heard about. These are the subtle, easily dismissed changes that could save your mind if you know what to look for. The first hidden sign will shock you because it happens while you're sleeping, completely unaware that your brain is crying out for help. Scientists at the University of Birmingham tracked over 600 people for nearly a decade and discovered something extraordinary. Those who experienced frequent nightmares and disturbing dreams were 5 times more likely to develop cognitive decline within just 4 years. But here's the part that'll keep you up at night. These weren't random bad dreams. The study found that people who woke up from nightmares more than once a week showed the same brain changes seen in early dementia patients. Your brain uses sleep to clear out toxic proteins that build up during the day. When nightmares disrupt this crucial cleaning process, dangerous substances like beta amyloid and tau proteins start accumulating. These are the same proteins found in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. Dr. Abidemi Otaiku, who led the research, called nightmares a canary in the coal mine for brain health. The most disturbing part? Most people never connect their sleep troubles to their future cognitive health, dismissing nightmares as stress or something they ate. But nightmares aren't the only sleep-related warning sign. REM sleep behavior disorder, where people physically act out their dreams by talking, punching, or kicking, has been directly linked to a type of dementia called Lewy body disease. If your partner tells you that you've become more active or aggressive during sleep, this isn't just a quirky sleep habit. It could be your brain's early distress signal. The second warning sign is hiding in plain sight every time you look in the mirror. Your eyes aren't just windows to your soul, they're direct extensions of your brain, and they start revealing cognitive problems years before memory issues begin. Recent studies have found that vision changes can predict dementia up to 12 years before diagnosis. We're not talking about needing reading glasses or having trouble seeing in dim light. These are specific visual processing problems that most people blame on normal aging. People in the early stages of dementia often struggle with depth perception, making it difficult to pour liquid into a glass or judge distances while driving. They might have trouble distinguishing between similar colors or reading text, even with perfect prescription glasses. Some individuals develop problems with peripheral vision, missing objects, or people approaching from the side. The most telling sign is difficulty processing complex visual scenes, like struggling to find a friend in a crowded restaurant or becoming overwhelmed in busy environments. What makes this particularly insidious is that regular eye exams often come back normal because the problem isn't with the eyes themselves, it's with how the brain processes visual information. Dr. Sharon Fekrat, a researcher at Duke University, found that people who failed simple visual sensitivity tests were significantly more likely to develop dementia within the following decade, even when their standard vision tests were perfect. There's also a specific type of Alzheimer's called posterior cortical atrophy that starts with vision problems rather than memory loss. Patients might struggle to read, have trouble judging distances, or experience visual hallucinations years before anyone suspects dementia. The tragic part is that these individuals often spend years going from one eye doctor to another, desperately seeking answers for vision problems that no glasses can fix. The third hidden warning sign literally stinks, and most people never make the connection. Your sense of smell provides a direct pathway to the brain areas that control memory and cognition. When these regions start deteriorating, Your ability to detect and identify odors goes with them. This isn't about having a stuffy nose or getting older. This is about your brain losing its ability to process smell information. Research published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease followed over 2,000 adults and found that those who couldn't identify common scents like roses, lemons, or cinnamon were significantly more likely to develop cognitive problems within 4 years. The University of Chicago conducted a similar study and discovered that older adults who lost their sense of smell were twice as likely to develop dementia within 5 years compared to those with normal smell function. The most shocking finding came from researchers at Columbia University who developed something called the peanut butter test. They found that people in early stages of Alzheimer's disease couldn't smell peanut butter held under their left nostril as well as their right nostril. This simple 15-second test was more accurate at detecting early cognitive decline than some expensive medical scans. What makes smell loss so significant is its connection to the hippocampus and entorhinal cortex, the exact brain regions where Alzheimer's disease typically begins. Dr. Jayant Pinto, who led several smell-related dementia studies, explained that losing your sense of smell might be like losing the canary in the coal mine for brain health. The olfactory system is one of the first casualties when toxic proteins start damaging brain cells. But here's what's really disturbing. Most people don't even notice when their sense of smell starts declining. They might stop enjoying their favorite foods or fail to detect gas leaks or smoke, but they rarely connect these changes to their brain health. Family members might notice that their loved one has stopped commenting on cooking smells or no longer reacts to strong fragrances, but these observations often get dismissed as minor aging changes. The fourth warning sign happens in the shadows of sleep, long before anyone notices daytime cognitive problems. We've already talked about nightmares, but there's an entire spectrum of sleep disruptions that signal early brain changes. Researchers have discovered that sleep problems don't just accompany dementia, they might actually help cause it. During deep sleep, your brain activates something called the glymphatic system, which acts like a nighttime cleaning crew for your mind. This system flushes out toxic proteins and cellular waste that accumulate during waking hours. When sleep becomes fragmented or shallow, this crucial cleaning process gets disrupted, allowing harmful substances to build up. Dr. Maiken Nedergaard, who discovered the glymphatic system, found that just one night of poor sleep can increase beta amyloid levels in the brain by 5%. People who later develop dementia often experience specific types of sleep disturbance years before memory problems begin. They might find themselves waking up multiple times each night without any obvious cause, or they might start needing frequent daytime naps despite getting what seems like adequate nighttime sleep. Some individuals develop a condition called sundowning, where they become restless and agitated in the late afternoon or evening, even in the very early stages of cognitive decline. Sleep apnea presents another hidden connection to dementia risk. When breathing repeatedly stops during sleep, the brain gets deprived of oxygen while being flooded with stress hormones. This combination accelerates the very brain changes associated with Alzheimer's disease. Studies have shown that treating sleep apnea can actually slow cognitive decline, suggesting that addressing sleep problems early might help preserve brain function. The most insidious aspect of sleep-related dementia warning signs is how easily they get explained away. People blame stress, medication changes, or getting older for their sleep problems, never realizing that their brain might be sending an urgent distress signal. Even more concerning, many individuals don't recognize their own sleep disruptions. It's often family members who notice the changes first. The fifth hidden sign emerges in conversations long before anyone notices memory problems. Language changes in early dementia are subtle but significant, often dismissed as normal aging or stress-related difficulties. These aren't dramatic speech problems. They're nuanced shifts in how people find, choose, and use words that can appear years before formal diagnosis. One of the earliest language warning signs is increased difficulty with word retrieval. People might pause more frequently during conversations, struggling to find common words that used to come easily. They might start using vague terms like thing or that stuff instead of specific nouns, or they might substitute similar sounding words that don't quite fit the context. Dr. Kimberly Muller, a speech-language pathologist who studies early dementia, found that these word-finding difficulties often begin 2 to 3 years before more obvious cognitive symptoms appear. Another subtle language change involves sentence complexity and structure. People in the very early stages of cognitive decline often begin using shorter, simpler sentences without realizing it. Their storytelling might become less detailed, and they might struggle to follow complex conversations or lose track of their point mid-sentence. Some individuals start repeating the same phrases or stories within a single conversation, not because they've forgotten telling them, but because their language processing systems are becoming less efficient. Recent research has revealed that changes in writing can be even more revealing than spoken language problems. Scientists analyzed the writing samples of nuns who participated in a famous longevity study and found that those who developed Alzheimer's disease decades later had shown specific writing characteristics in their youth: lower idea density and reduced grammatical complexity. This suggests that language changes might be among the very earliest indicators of future cognitive problems. What makes language-related warning signs particularly challenging is how family members and friends typically respond to them. When someone starts having trouble finding words or begins speaking in simpler sentences, people around them often help by finishing sentences or filling in missing words. While this comes from a place of kindness, it can mask important early symptoms that might otherwise prompt medical evaluation. The sixth warning sign affects how people navigate and interact with their physical environment in ways that go far beyond simple forgetfulness. Spatial awareness and navigation problems can appear years before memory difficulties, but they're often attributed to distraction or normal aging rather than recognized as potential brain health indicators. People experiencing early spatial processing problems might start having trouble judging distances, leading to minor accidents like misjudging curb heights or having difficulty parking between lines. They might begin avoiding busy intersections or crowded spaces, not because of anxiety, but because their brain can no longer efficiently process complex spatial information. Some individuals develop problems with depth perception, making it challenging to pour liquids accurately or place objects on tables without missing. Navigation difficulties represent another crucial early warning sign. People might start getting confused in familiar environments, taking wrong turns in neighborhoods they've known for years, or having trouble finding their car in parking lots they've used countless times. These aren't dramatic episodes of getting completely lost. They're subtle navigation errors that gradually become more frequent and noticeable. Dr. Denise Head, who studies spatial cognition and aging at Washington University, found that people who later developed Alzheimer's disease showed specific patterns of navigation difficulty years before diagnosis. They had particular trouble with tasks requiring them to take shortcuts or find alternative routes, suggesting problems with the brain's internal mapping system. Brain scans revealed that the areas responsible for spatial processing, including the hippocampus and parietal cortex, were already showing changes in people with these navigation difficulties. The most concerning aspect of spatial awareness problems is how they affect safety and independence. People might start avoiding driving at night or in unfamiliar areas, gradually limiting their world without fully understanding why. They might have increased accidents or near misses, from bumping into furniture to misjudging steps and stairs. Family members often notice these changes before the individuals themselves, observing increased hesitancy in physical movements or subtle changes in how their loved ones interact with their environment. The seventh hidden warning sign involves personality and emotional changes that families often dismiss as stress, depression, or just getting older. These shifts in behavior and emotional regulation can appear years before memory problems become obvious, but they reflect real changes in brain regions responsible for personality, judgment, and emotional control. Apathy represents one of the most common early emotional changes in dementia. People might lose interest in activities they previously enjoyed, from hobbies and social events to spending time with family and friends. This isn't temporary sadness or depression. It's a persistent lack of motivation and engagement that doesn't respond to encouragement or attempts to rekindle interest. Dr. David Steffens, a geriatric psychiatrist at the University of Connecticut, found that apathy can appear up to 3 years before other dementia symptoms become apparent. Changes in social behavior provide another significant early warning sign. People might become more withdrawn from social situations, not because they're feeling sad, but because social interactions require complex cognitive processing that's becoming more difficult. They might start avoiding group gatherings, stop initiating social contact, or seem less engaged during conversations. Some individuals become more suspicious or paranoid, developing unfounded concerns about family members or neighbors that seem completely out of character. Emotional regulation changes can be particularly distressing for families. People might become more irritable, developing shorter tempers over minor inconveniences that previously wouldn't have bothered them. They might show inappropriate emotional responses, like laughing at serious situations or becoming upset over trivial matters. Some individuals lose their social filters, making comments or behaving in ways that seem rude or inappropriate, even though they've always been considerate and well-mannered. Recent research has revealed that these personality changes reflect actual structural and functional changes in the brain's frontal lobes, which control executive function, judgment, and emotional regulation. Dr. Brad Dickerson at Massachusetts General Hospital found that people who later developed dementia showed specific patterns of brain atrophy in regions controlling personality and behavior years before memory problems became apparent. What makes personality-related warning signs particularly challenging is how they affect family relationships. When someone becomes more withdrawn, irritable, or suspicious, family members might attribute these changes to life stress, relationship problems, or depression rather than considering them potential indicators of cognitive decline. This can lead to relationship conflicts and emotional distance at exactly the time when support and medical evaluation are most needed. The eighth and final hidden warning sign might be the most surprising of all. It's literally in your hands. Grip strength, something most people never think about in relation to brain health, has emerged as a powerful predictor of future cognitive decline. This isn't about being able to open jars or carry heavy groceries. It's about how the brain-body connection reveals early neurological changes. Multiple large-scale studies have found a strong correlation between declining grip strength and increased dementia risk. Research published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease followed over 8,000 adults for 4 years and discovered that those with the weakest grip strength were 72% more likely to develop cognitive problems compared to those with the strongest grip. Even more striking, the Framingham Heart Study found that grip strength could predict cognitive decline up to 10 years before other symptoms appeared. The connection between grip strength and brain health reflects the complex relationship between motor control and cognitive function. The brain regions that control hand strength and coordination are closely connected to areas involved in memory, attention, and executive function. Dr. Fangfang Zheng, who led several grip strength studies, explained that declining grip strength might indicate early changes in the central nervous system that affect both motor control and cognitive abilities. What makes grip strength particularly valuable as an early warning sign is how easy it is to measure and track over time. Unlike complex cognitive tests or expensive brain scans, grip strength can be assessed with a simple handheld device called a dynamometer. People can even notice changes themselves, struggling to open containers they previously opened easily, having difficulty carrying bags that didn't used to feel heavy, or noticing that their handshake feels weaker. Research has shown that the relationship between grip strength and cognitive decline isn't simply about being physically fit or strong. Even after accounting for overall health, exercise levels, and other physical capabilities, grip strength remained a significant predictor of future dementia risk. This suggests that the brain-muscle connection measured by grip strength reflects specific neurological changes rather than just general physical decline. The implications of this research are profound because grip strength represents a potentially modifiable risk factor. Studies have found that resistance training and exercises specifically designed to improve hand and arm strength can help maintain both grip strength and cognitive function. Dr. Teresa Lou Ambrose at the University of British Columbia discovered that older adults who participated in twice-weekly strength training showed both improved grip strength and better performance on cognitive tests compared to those who didn't exercise. But here's what makes this discovery both hopeful and urgent. If these 8 hidden warning signs can appear years or even decades before obvious dementia symptoms, they also represent years or decades of opportunity for intervention. The brain has remarkable plasticity, especially in the early stages of change, and research suggests that addressing these warning signs early might help preserve cognitive function. Recent breakthroughs in dementia research have revealed that the disease process isn't inevitable or irreversible, especially in its earliest stages. Dr. Dale Bredesen, whose research focuses on reversing cognitive decline, has found that comprehensive interventions addressing sleep, nutrition, exercise, stress management, and other lifestyle factors can actually improve cognitive function in people showing early signs of decline. The Mediterranean diet, rich in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory compounds, has been shown to reduce dementia risk by up to 40%. Regular physical exercise, particularly activities that combine cardiovascular fitness with coordination and balance, can literally grow new brain cells and strengthen connections between existing ones. Quality sleep, stress reduction techniques, and social engagement all play crucial roles in maintaining cognitive health. But perhaps most importantly, addressing these hidden warning signs requires recognizing them in the first place. Too often, people dismiss subtle changes as normal aging or temporary stress, missing critical opportunities for early intervention. If you recognize any of these 8 warning signs, whether it's frequent nightmares, vision processing problems, smell loss, sleep disruptions, language changes, spatial difficulties, personality shifts, or declining grip strength, don't wait for more obvious symptoms to appear. The future of brain health isn't just about treating dementia after it develops. It's about recognizing and addressing the earliest warning signs while there's still time to make a difference. Your brain has been trying to tell you something. The question is, are you ready to listen? Early detection isn't just about diagnosis. It's about hope, intervention, and the possibility of changing your cognitive future. These 8 hidden signs represent 8 opportunities to take action, seek evaluation, and potentially preserve the most precious thing you have, your mind. The earlier you recognize these warning signs, the more power you have to fight back and protect your cognitive health for decades to come.